a little bit about what we call the EPOC effect. And the EPOC effect is really why we do HIIT training. So when you're opening up your book, we are on page 11. So it's under cardio and strength training down at the very bottom, and you'll see it says the EPOC effect. Okay. So we talked a little bit, was it last week, about weights before cardio and why you want to do that. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the EPOC effect. So the EPOC effect is exercise post-oxygen consumption. So if you want to write that in there, it's exercise post-oxygen consumption. So I'm going to back up just a little bit. How many of you have spent any time in a mechanic shop? I have a little bit. Okay. So when you have a rusted on bolt, do you guys know how to get that rusted on bolt off?
Easy off.
Some easy off, okay? So we try our best to get some easy off, and if that sucker is just rusted on like it's years old, hit it. Okay, we're gonna smack it. Have you heard put Coke on it? Yeah, put Coke on it. Okay, if that doesn't work, if everything that you have tried doesn't work, you know what you do? Cuss and get out a blowtorch. Okay? Because the heat of that blowtorch is actually going to break the chemical bonds between the rust and the metal, and it's going to allow you to loosen it up. Okay? So when fat has been stuck on your body for years, and it is really old fat, and it's just stuck on there, and you've tried exercising a little bit, and you've tried a little bit of nutrition, you've tried these little things here and there, and just nothing is quite working, what do you have to do? Get out the blowtorch. Okay, the EPOC effect is what we consider the blowtorch. It has to be something that is pretty intense heat because we've got to, again, break that chemical bond between the rust or the fat and our bodies, which is the metal. Okay, the EPOC effect or an intense exercise is even, it helps to counterbalance what we consider steady state cardio, and it does what steady state cardio can't. So your steady state cardio is, going out for a hike, going out for a run, getting on the elliptical, doing the rowing machine, dancing, all these really, cool things that we can do. Now we need that steady state cardio because one, it's going to help with our heart, it's going to help with recovery, it's going to help us, it's something that we can do for a long period of time so you can burn a lot of calories. I mean, there's times when I go hiking and I'm hiking for 10 hours in a day and, I get finished, I'm tired, but I can still manage, right? So you still need that steady state cardio, but the EPOC effect is, again, that blowtorch that is literally going to start melting fat. It's going to break those chemical bonds. It is actually going to burn fat off of your body for 16 hours after your workout. Some studies have shown it goes up to about 24 hours after your workout. So would I rather work really, really, really hard for a few minutes and get into that EPOC zone and be able to burn more calories for the next 24 hours? Or would I want to go out for a simple walk for an hour and then finish burning my calories at the end of that walk? Again, you need both of them and you need them in balance. And that's why in the program I've got you doing 3 HIIT workouts and I've got you doing 3 cardio sessions because you need a combination of both. When you get into the EPOC effect, so after you finish that really high intensity exercise, like when we do our HIIT training, your body starts feeling some effects. Lactic acid is one, right? You get tired, a lot of other things go on in your body. But your body, you need to be able to restore your body to that basic equilibrium. And that's what we consider the EPOC or effect, which is the exercise post-oxygen consumption effect. So again, hard anaerobic exercise. Anybody know what anaerobic means?
You're in deficit?
Yeah, you're in a huge oxygen deficit, so without oxygen. So when you guys were doing those tricep push-ups today, did you get into an anaerobic state where you could hardly even breathe? No? Okay.
No.
How about the mountain climbers? Were you pushing those mountain climbers hard enough that it was getting really, really hard to breathe? Okay. So when you're doing your HIIT sessions, you want to be able to get into some of those zones during those sessions. Really, in an EPOC, or that you want your VO2 max, or the volume of your maximum oxygen, I can't speak, to be about 80% to 100%. So again, that's your peak zones. Okay, you want to get into your peak zone. So maybe if you're not getting into any peak zones in your HIIT training, then warm up just a little bit more, and then in each exercise, push harder. You want to push as hard as you can. You want to get to that place where you're like, I can't do another one. How many of you have been sore in some of your HIIT, after your HIIT training sessions? Yeah, okay. So in some of those sections, you have been able to get to that huge anaerobic deficit. You've been able to take your heart rate into your VO2 max at between 80 to 100%. Now I know I'm throwing out a lot of scientific terms, but again, the more I can educate you, the better off. And if you guys have questions, stop me and say, hey, wait a second, what is that, okay? So some of the byproducts when you get your oxygen levels to that 80 to 100%. One, we already talked about lactic acid. So what is lactic acid? What does it feel like? Burns?
Painful.
A little painful? You feel like you are stiff and you can't move. When you sit down on the toilet, you actually break the toilet seat because you fall onto it. If you go into my bathroom, in my bedroom, my toilet seat wiggles like this because after many a leg day, both Rodney and I will sit on the toilet and you kind of fall on and you kind of slide to the side, and yeah, it has kind of been broken a little bit. So just be careful if you go into my bathroom. I'm like, come on, you got to fix that. Okay, so that's the effects of lactic acid. Any ideas of what other things, byproducts we have with exercise? Lactic acid is the big one, right, that we all think of. Testosterone increases, even in women, yes. Growth hormone increases, and adrenaline increases. One of the other ones that really increases is called nitric oxide. So anybody been around cars again? Smell a little bit. Do you know what nitrous oxide is? What is it?
Exactly
What does it do? Nitrous oxide.
Not the laughing gas.
Makes the car go fast. Have you ever watched Fast and Furious? Like, okay, come on, put the nitrous oxide on. Boom, they go really fast, right? Okay. So this is not nitrous oxide, this is nitric oxide. And nitric oxide has a couple of things that really its functions. First of all, it's a communication between cells. So it's telling the cells how to function with each other. It also helps your blood circulate, and it regulates activities of the brain, the lung, your kidneys, and a lot of your other organs. So it's telling, again, all those little cells in your body, okay, let's pump some more blood to, this section of the body because it's hurting, it's got some lactic acid buildup going on. It's telling your liver how to function and to, start pulling some of that lactic acid back out, pull some of the testosterone levels down. So it's really the communicator, nitric oxide. The other main function is it helps with the release of hormones. So again, when you exercise, your testosterone level goes up, your adrenaline levels go up, and your human growth hormone levels go up. So now your body's out of whack. Huh? I mean, all of these things are kind of crazy going on there because you have just taken your body and you've worked it very, very, very hard. So it has to pull it back down to an equilibrium and into this steady state. And again, that's exercise post-oxygen consumption. It's the amount of time that it takes in order to bring your body back to that regular state. And so when you're exercising, using, like HIIT training, or you're trying to get into one of these EPOC effects, you can really have a lot of fun with it. Have you had fun with some of the HIIT workouts? You can vary them. You can change them up. One of my favorite ways to do them, honestly, is get outside and try to find things that are gonna make me breathe really hard. I have been known to, be out on a trail, find a really cool rock, pick the rock up and throw it as hard as I can, run to it, like sprint to it, pick that rock up again and throw it again, and run, pick it up, keep on throwing it. Is that an exercise that's going to get me into that high heart rate zone? Mm-hmm. Okay, another one that I like to do is, say there's a log, and there's a lot of down trees out in the forest, a log like this, and you hop up and down, hop up and down, hop up and down. Guess where that came from? Mist. Actually, I was standing on a log and my feet went whew, way out from me. But find things that are going to, really get your heart rate up, and do them as hard as you can. Rest just a second, then do them as hard as you can. You can also do HIIT workouts anywhere. Like I said, I'll go out and do them on a trail. What about a beach? Could you do a HIIT workout on a beach? What could you do out on a beach? squats, lunges? Could you run out into that ocean and like run through the ocean as the wave is coming in and dive in? And then try to swim back? Could you try swimming against a current as hard as you can? Or against a wave as hard as you can? Another thing that people do a lot is they will purchase, it's called a sandbag. So it's kind of like a duffel bag that has all these crazy handles on it. So it's empty, but when you get to the beach, you fill it up with sand and then you use it as a weight. Yeah, so there's lots of really, really cool things that you can do. But get creative with some of your workouts. I've given you kind of a box, will you say, where I've said, okay, do a squat, do a lunge, do a push, do a pull, do a flexion, a rotation, and a gait exercise. But do you have to do that? No, that's just effective because I'm hitting your total body. But have fun with some of your workouts. The more fun that you can have and the more that you can change them up and challenge yourself, the better off you're going to be. So some of your homework for next week, and I will again post this for some of those who missed it, but I want you guys to create your own workout. I want you to come with 7 different exercises. They don't necessarily have to be in the format or the box that I gave you, but I want you to come up with 7 different exercises. And we're going to come next week and we're going to choose, I'm going to say, okay, I want you, give me an exercise, give me an exercise, give me an exercise. And we're going to put them all together and we're going to do one of your workouts. Okay? It can be really, really, it's going to be really fun. So again, we're going to try to change it up. All right, so with your HIIT workouts, I will definitely say quality over quantity. That's why in your tricep push-ups today, I said, do a couple, rest just a second, go back, do a couple. I would rather have you do, a better quality exercise than just try to do something and for a better lack of terms, do it half-ass, okay? If you're running in place, don't just do like an itty-bitty little jog unless you have an injury, out there. But run, get your knees up high, kick your butt, get going. When you do a HIIT exercise, you want to be literally pushing to the point when you can't breathe. It's like, I can't go anymore. You're looking at that clock and saying, are you kidding me? 10 more seconds, but you keep going and you keep pushing, okay? So I'm gonna give you guys some examples and we're gonna go over these for a second. So I'm gonna take one, and if you will pass them around. So these are EPOC effect examples, and I'm actually going to post this in our group. I'm just kind of holding it here for everybody to kind of see for a second. And if it's all right, I'm going to go up here. I'm going to get a pen out because the math of this is kind of cool. All right, does everybody have one? Okay, so for a steady state cardio, we're looking at moderate exercise, and we're going to go for an hour. Okay, so 60 minutes. See that at the top? Okay, so during that exercise, burn about 300 calories. Is that pretty, common for you guys? Have you noticed? 300 calories? Okay. 300 calories. Now my EPOC effect for that, because again, you're going to pretty much stop burning calories at the end of it, but really you're going to burn about 40 calories, and it's based on an additional 10 calories per hour for about 4 exercises, and that's about the maximum. So I'm going to add 40 calories onto the end of that for a grand total of 340 calories for 60 minutes. Okay, see how that works? All right, resistance-based interval training. So this would be like one of my body sculpt classes where you are working, you've got some cardio elements to it, but you've got some resistance training using like dumbbells or bands or something of that sort. We're going to say we've only got 45 minutes.
Would that be like the videos that I do?
Yes. Unless you're getting into that anaerobic threshold where again you can hardly breathe. But typically this is kind of like classes. Kind of like an instructor-led class. Okay, so during exercise, you're going to again burn about 300 calories. Okay. Afterwards, is this going to be more intense than going out for a walk for an hour? Yeah, it is. If you've been to some of my body sculpt classes, you're like, oh my gosh, yes, it's a heck of a lot harder. So we're going to burn an additional 240 calories. And that's based on an additional 10 calories for about 24 hours afterwards. Again, because you've got some resistance based, we're burning our muscles out and we're really fatiguing. So the grand total here is what?
540.
540. Is that a big difference? 200 calories difference and I'm working 15 minutes less. Okay? All right, so here comes the real kicker. This is resistance-based anaerobic threshold interval training. So again, this is like HIIT training. So I'm using, and it may not even necessarily be like equipment, like dumbbells or bands, but it may be my own body weight, and we all know that we weigh enough to give ourselves a good workout, right? Okay? So I'm going to go for 20 minutes. Get down here. 20 minutes. And I'm going to burn about 350 calories. Now I know that some of your Fitbits aren't showing that because one, you're not pushing hard enough. Okay? If you are pushing hard enough, trust me, they are here. Like when I do some of these HIIT workouts on my own, I can't talk, I can hardly breathe, my muscles are burning, and I will even take it to where I'm working for 55 seconds and I'm only giving myself 5 seconds to just even get into the next exercise. You will burn 350 calories, okay? Now look at the next number, 360. Why? Because I'm going to burn an additional 15 calories an hour for the next 24 hours. So a total of 710. Double for a third of the time. That's why we do HIIT training in this class. This is the blowtorch that I'm talking about, where I am trying to blast off the fat. It is hands down shown time and time again that workouts like this, HIIT workouts when you are pushing as hard as you can for a short duration, are going to burn more calories and they are going to be more effective than just doing a whole bunch of this. Hands down. So, now as you go forward with this program, our aim is down here, okay? I can't push you at this level in the very beginning because for a lot of people, they haven't worked this hard before, okay? But guess what we're gonna do next week? We're gonna work this hard, okay? I wanna push you guys really hard because I want you to get that good calorie burn, and we're gonna see what happens afterwards. So when you're looking at your Fitbit, it is not going to give you this number, okay? It can't necessarily calculate that in. It will, however, calculate in when you're doing those peak minutes, you are going to be burning more calories, which is here. But just remember, you're gonna burn a little bit more. So don't think that that's a pass, like, hey, Jess said that, I'm gonna be burning more calories for the next 24 hours after, and I'm gonna be burning like 360 calories more, so I'm gonna eat a little bit more. No, okay? These are just kind of like those hidden little like treasures that you get to find later on, and it's when you pull your pants on, your pants are fitting a little bit better, okay? So don't calculate this in, okay? Just understand what's happening to your body when you're pushing really, really hard, okay?
How does the Fitbit calculate when you get into your peak?